Hey everybody, welcome to Grad Studies Academy. This morning I want to talk about Scrivener again. I know I have a previous video about it, but today I want to do a brief description of how Scrivener, hands-on example of how Scrivener makes writing research papers less painful, saves time, and also keeps you focused. It's a great program, and I want to dive right in, and we're going to show you how to run through a setup of a new document for a research paper and what that looks like. And you set up a template once, and then it's set up for the rest of your program. And so I believe that doing these templates, or maybe taking a little more time to front end your program, front end like templates, paper writing templates, time management, all those things. It may take a little bit of time at the beginning, but it saves you so much time that I have found throughout your program. And the systems that I have made for myself during my grad studies journeys over the years, and even in my work life, is that although it takes a bit of a time to start, it's just the payoff is great. And you'll find it when you're in your middle of writing your dissertation or writing those research papers, setting something up from scratch, just another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Add it on to an already busy schedule with life and everything. Have a great system and go from there. So without messing around, I'm just going to step into Scrivener. Also, I have a link below where you can click on it. You can go to the Scrivener webpage. You can buy it. It's one-time purchase. This video isn't sponsored. I have an affiliate link there. It helps the channel if you purchase through it. I've been using Scrivener since 2017 for fiction writing, nonfiction, research papers, and I think you might find it useful. So let's dive in here. All right, so when you open Scrivener, what you're going to see here is let me get to my Scrivener, not Notion, and you're going to get to Scrivener, there we go. You have the project templates and also the help screen and everything. So I'm going to go to blank, create, and I can call it research paper template. I'm just going to save that on my desktop for now, create. There you go. So what you have is just a blank document, and you can set up your fonts you want. There's so much settings you can do, obviously, in your settings about previews and everything like that. And then so from here, I wouldn't touch the research folder. This is where you're going to dump all your research studies, your articles, and etc. So it's called draft is what it calls it. And then you can go right click. You can add a new page, new folder. I would say new folder. This can be, this first one I would just call it title page for now. And then a new folder could be introduction. And so that's all you would do. And then you go add new folder. I'll just call this main point 1. And then you can duplicate, and then when you just click on it, you can change the name, and I would go, let's go new folder, however you want to do it, main point 3. I like having them in folders. You can have them as, if you don't like them in folders, you can just have them as documents. At the end, when you compile it, it separates everything. So then I can go new folder, and I would just call this one conclusion. I mean, if you have an application section, put an application folder here, then conclusion. And then I would go, let's see, add new note. Let's see here. Working on a fly, okay. And I'll call this bibliography. This is a very basic use of Scrivener. I'm not getting into how to use Zotero with it or anything like that. And so in each folder, you can add a text folder, and I'll call this, let's say I want to do definitions. And you just hit enter and I can make another document. Let's call this thesis statement. And then for main point, let's add a new text. So automatically when you click on like the folder and you hit add text or what have you, it'll dump it into the folder. So I'll call this like sub point 1, sub point 2, and let's say I have a third one. So you kind of get the idea, and you just do that with all the other main points, and so you can keep everything nice and tidy. If you realized you need to move a point, this one into like main point 1, sub point 2, and you need to move it into the main point folder, but you can view it as a corkboard, and you can move, actually if you do the whole, there you can see the whole draft, main point 1, main point 2. You can make notes for everything like that. If you go into subpoint, you can move these around inside, and then you can even move it to different points. So I just did a right click, and then you can go move to, and so there's all kinds of ways you can move things around. But let's say just keep it as is. And so that's with your, so you can have notes on your corkboard. If you don't want corkboard anymore, just say introduction here. So we'll do the title page. This is just a template. So you have all your information, and then when you go to definitions, start here, and you can make this bigger font. You can make the screen bigger. You can go, there you go. You can start here. You can make the binder, which is on the left, that can disappear, and you don't want the binder there, you go hide binder, and then you just have that. You can show binder. And what I like about Scrivener is that you just see what you're working on, and you can make this a full screen. So I'm just working on my definitions, and then my thesis statement, just working on thesis. And so then that's all you're working on. You're not, later on you might want to see the whole text. You can easily do that by going, it's this one here on the right. You can see that shows, where is it here? Oh, start here, but I have no text. So it shows the different sections by the dotted lines, and you can see the whole thing at once, or you can just go by your sections. There's tons of different ways you can mess around with Scrivener. And then of course you hit the I, the information button. You can be in your definition section, and you go, oh, you have a question. Just enter questions here, and off you go. And then there's ways to do footnotes and everything, but this is a template. So then you have that, and then you can go file, you can save as, and just have it open like that. And when you open it, and then you just save as a new file folder called your English research paper number 4, whatever it is. So cancel end. That's Scrivener set up in a nutshell. So have that set up, and then when you move from your writing, drafting by hand, and then you start populating those different sections, you can work out the different sections, and you're like, oh, I did a bunch of research on my, sub point 3, and you're working in there, but you need to have your outline completed, and then off you go. And so if you want to check out more on how my video on how to organize your program files and without losing your mind, just follow, check out the next video that I put the link below, and it gives you a system of how to organize your program files. And then I do have an intro video to Scrivener, and thanks for watching.